A rodent as big as a truck appeared with the mule and plopped me on top of the impatient animal. My guide wore mirrored sunglasses, and it took me a second to recognize him. It was Bruce Hyena. "Bruce, is that you?" I asked, relieved that my tongue was finally better. "Hey there, Cheesehead," Bruce said. "What are you doing here, Bruce?" I asked. "I got a summer job taking Cheesehead tourists like you to the bottom of the canyon," he answered. "How many tourists do you lose per year?" I asked nervously. Bruce just snickered and climbed on another mule. He clicked his tongue, and the mule started to carry us down the very narrow, very steep, and very scary trail. My mule swayed back and forth, making my tummy flip-flop. Then I looked down into the canyon. What a mistake. My head began to spin, my whiskers started to drip with sweat, then I suddenly felt cold all over and my teeth started to chatter. Panic, I grabbed the mule's neck and hugged it tightly. Then I closed my eyes so I couldn't see. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I was going to fall, so I decided to walk. It wasn't much better. With every step I took, I was sure I would plummet into nothingness. Bruce laughed at me. "You're impossible, Cheesehead. Get back on your mule. He won't fall, I promise. I'll tie you to him in a blindfold so you can't get dizzy. You'll be as cozy as a caterpillar in a cocoon." It was no use protesting. Bruce tied me up and used the red bandana from Grandfather's hat as a blindfold. Even though I couldn't see, the swaying of the mule made my tummy flip-flop again. My stomach started to gurgle. Poor me. Besides having car sickness, air sickness, and seasickness, I found out that I also suffered from mule sickness. It was extreme adventure for my stomach. When we finally got to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, Bruce released me from my cocoon. My knees were wobbly and my whiskers were trembling. Bruce slapped my back with enough force to bring down a buffalo. "Good luck finding the red bandit," he said. "Just try to stay alive, okay?" He and the mules headed back up the path. I looked around for the red bandit, but I didn't see him. Then I noticed a group of hikers that were about to go rafting down the Colorado River. "Excuse me, but have any of you seen a rodent with silver fur, a cowboy hat, and a red bandana around his neck?" I asked. "Sure did," replied an athletic-looking mouse. "We saw him heading for that valley just a little while ago." "You did?" I asked, excited. She nodded. "Would you like us to give you a ride? We're going that way." A ride sounded very nice. "Thank you," I squeaked gratefully. She handed me a helmet, a wetsuit, and a life jacket, and then shoved a paddle in my paw. I jumped into the raft. Extreme adventure number 5 was about to begin. The raft bobbed up and down on the raging river while the guide shouted instructions. "Paddle right, paddle left, paddle hard, paddle smoothly. Whatever you do, just paddle." As we traveled, breathtaking beauty unfolded all around me. The high, steep banks of red rocks reflected into the river, and the sky above was a brilliant shade of blue that can only be found in the desert. Suddenly, the raft lurched to the right, and then to the left. We almost tipped over. Then other mice shouted with glee, "Fantastic! Awesome!" Me, I shrieked with terror. The blonde hiker winked at me enthusiastically. "Isn't this incredible?" she shouted over the deafening sounds of the roaring waves. I was thinking that it was an incredibly extreme adventure. Maybe too extreme for a mouse like me. But I didn't tell her that. Suddenly, the roaring of the waves became louder and louder. The guide's voice got louder and faster. "Paddle, paddle, paddle, paddle," he cried, "and be careful not to fall into the water." Too late. I had already fallen in.